I'm wiped out, y'all. I'm wiped out. Good morning, blind bet. Uh, I'm I'm neurologically wiped the entire fuck out, y'all. All it took was 35 reps at 275. I mean, I did 40% more work over last week, but man, that just got me lightheaded. That was really difficult. I think part of the reason why it was difficult is because I had a very poor approach to the bar on my second warm-up set at 225. Um, yep, it happens. Definitely happens, man. Every day, but yeah, neurologically, I'm wiped. Oh man. Wow. I'm wiped the fuck out. It really only hit me when I sat down. Um, yeah, definitely. Wow. Last week I did 25 reps at 275, but today I did 35, which is an extra two sets of five, so 7 sets of five. So I'm definitely, I'm not hurt, but I definitely feel like I lost a little bit of myself. And it's a good thing you got him, Mercedes. You know, it's funny you mentioned that, man. I just sent an email out to the salesperson over at another car brand before I started the stream. Kind of gets the gold juices flowing. And I asked about a test drive. So um, you know, if he grants me a test drive, it'll be cool because he already knows that even if I had the situation, if I had the situation right now, um, I probably would pull the trigger, but I can't because, you know, I don't have the situation and they don't have the situation either. You know, they're months out from being able to fulfill orders. So, um, you know, you know, I've kind of I've kind of redirected my attention from how tired and spent I feel and looking towards like the next goals that I've got over the next 3 months. So, you know, I need a lot of things to go right, but things are going right. And I'm putting the work in. So I am kind of giddy, I would say, you know, because I know that if I just keep doing what I'm supposed to do, I've got some really nice things to look forward to. Um, and the only thing I have to do is keep working hard. Imagine how people feel with COVID-19, the Delta variant. They are wiped out, and there's nothing they could do about it. No, I'm not. I'm not giving them that. They could have gotten vaccinated. You know, the people that got vaccinated, they got, some of them got COVID, but they aren't wiped out because of it. You know what I mean? So if you're wiped out because of the Rona, it's your own goddamn fault. Unless you're over the age of 60, then you can blame the people who didn't get vaccinated. Um, but yeah, I'm not giving anybody that excuse. Um, you know, the, I was one of the people who was a late adopter, and I was fully vaccinated by the end of May as somebody who was not an early adopter. Somebody who didn't really trust the vaccines like that, because of the amount of time for development and, waiting for the studies to come out and waiting to see if people I knew grew an extra arm or got, some sort of mutant special abilities. Because, mutant special abilities, I would have tried to get like 7 shots. Because if I could be like Spider-Man or Wolverine, I'm definitely taking it. Um, you give me the option of getting Wolverine's, like, super regenerative, healing factor. You give me Wolverine's healing factor, or uh, you know, basically all the powers that Spider-Man has. You give me any of that shit, I'm taking it. Um, I'm trying to get all the COVID shots. Like, give me all of them. I'll take the J&J. I'll take the fucking Pfizer uppercut. Um, um, I'll take whatever I can get. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to get vaccinated, and stop fucking around, because putting other people at risk. It's not even about you. And the thing is, I don't think that anybody who's claiming that they're afraid of any kind of side effects, all that's been put to bed. All of those fears have been long put to bed. At this point, you're just putting other people at risk for your freedoms. Other people want the freedom to be able to breathe without being intubated. So, think about somebody other than yourself. And here comes the ticket lady to give tickets. Even though it says that she's a traffic officer, if there is a traffic jam, she will do absolutely nothing to help. She's just there to increase the city's revenue. Okay. Having to rely on others, in my honest opinion, means your goals are wrong. Yeah. And people are proving that. And this is why they have zombie apocalypse movies, because, they're asking you moral questions. Are you going to be the person that wants to hide your bites and put everybody else at risk? Oh, but he just bit my pinky and I didn't cut it off immediately because, I like my pinky. Okay, so when you turn, you are going to put everybody in the sanctuary at risk, but it's all about you. So, you know, since it's all about you, when you turn, we should all die because, you didn't want to, do what was necessary to protect the group. Yeah, great. Thanks. You know, so, if anybody was ever wondering, what would it be like, to what would it be like in Walking Dead terms? Yeah, you now know what it is. It'll be a bunch of people screaming, "It's my right to get bitten. It's my right." Oh, you're telling me not to go outside when there are, you know, World War Z type zombies, the ones that run really fast and climb up on top of each other and scale walls? Oh, that's what you're telling me? You're telling me, you got World War Z zombies out there? Well, it's my right to get bit. Social pressure is a dangerous thing. Not being able to breathe um, is not being able to breathe is even worse. Maybe it's a weather thing to be so tired. No, I really fucked myself up in the gym just now. I fucked myself up pretty fucking good. Um, but I'm glad that I did. because I was tempted to do what I did last week, but I stepped it up plus 40%. So instead of doing 25 reps, I did 35 reps at 275, which is very, very taxing on my hand. So the last two sets, I had to go hybrid grip because my forearms started to show some pretty serious fatigue. Yeah, the forearms started showing some pretty serious fatigue, and because of that, um, my hands were just unrolling on the bar. So imagine having almost 300 pounds in your hands, and your hands are slowly opening against your will. It's very good for building up strength in your hands and your forearms, but it fucking sucks while it's happening. So I didn't want to shortchange myself from a posterior kinetic chain perspective. Perspective. So I went to the hybrid grip. All of um, with a pronated, um, with a fully pronated grip. I made sure I did that so that I wouldn't undo any of the progress from last week. I'm pretty sure that my hands and my forearms are still kind of tired, energy-wise, from the pull-ups, which I did 50 pull-ups last session, and then I also did 24 chin-ups. Well, pretty much I did all pull work. I did all pull work on, was it Thursday or Friday? One of those days. It's in my book. It's in my book. But yeah, I did a lot. I did a lot. So I don't think like I had no pain in my hands or forearms. I've recovered pain wise, but I had not recovered energy wise. So I was definitely more tired in the hands and forearms for the first 5x5 than I would have been otherwise because of all of the taxing on my hands and forearms, which is probably why I struggled with the bicep curl. Now I think about it. But yeah, Blind Bat says something pretty poignant. It's not we the people anymore. It's I the people because I am the United States. My freedom. Fuck everybody else's. Guess I was late to stream just a little bit. Do your forearms ever just stay contracted after heavy use? Absolutely not. That is a bad thing. That means that your electrical systems are not working very well. That means that your electrolyte balance is probably off. Your blood sugar levels might be low. Your hydration levels might be low. There's a lot of things that could be wrong in that situation. That's why proper hydration is important. And making sure that you're hydrating with electrolytes. Do not fuck around with that. You will pay. You will pay a heavy price if you fuck around. Don't fuck around, folks. Don't do it. Make sure you are properly hydrated. And like I said, we're not talking about, oh, I drank all the water. You lose sodium and potassium and magnesium in your sweat. You lose all of those things. So you can't just replace it with flat water. Can't do it. What happened to United We Stand? Well, it depends. Are you standing united against black and brown people? Then yeah, it'll be very fucking united then. They're only united against black and brown people. But for the rest of it, they'll tell you to go fuck yourself. I was very naive before the Rona. I thought that, if it came down to like an Independence Day kind of situation where aliens came down and waged war against us humans, that all of us would band together. Hell no. Hell no. No. Nope. Nope. Oh, I just realized I got the wrong banner. I got I got the wrong. This is not TSP. Um, if we got into an Independence Day situation and aliens came down, you had people talking, well, it's my right to side with the aliens. I lost a lot of faith in the strategic intelligence of American people. You got people like trying to spread a virus that the human genome has never experienced before. So I have zero faith. You know what? Looks like I'm going to not be taking the BQE because none of these are moving. So I might just take Fulton all the way down. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. I don't know why this guy is trying to make a left-hand turn because you're not allowed. Yeah. If we are ever invaded by aliens, we are in a lot of trouble, folks. I mean, what is it that Steven Crowder says? What is it? What's his tagline? Like, prove me wrong or change my mind. That's what he says. Change my mind. I want to put out a condolence. I want to put out condolences to the two Capitol officers who self-terminated um, in the month of July. That's really hard. I cannot understand what they went through that made them decide that self-termination was the way to go. Um, I don't really understand. I don't understand. Like there are a lot of people that choose their time to go, and I get it. Like I'm like, okay, but I don't. Um, if aliens ever visit, they could just buy the planet. Governments will offer it up for a price. I think they will offer it up for a privileged position, and that'll probably be the price. But yeah, with the Capitol officers, I don't understand why. I mean, I guess I have to respect their decision to leave this life, but I don't understand it. I don't understand it whatsoever. Um, I don't believe that any of the Capitol officers really did anything wrong. I don't think that I don't think that those events were a referendum or a trial of those officers. I don't believe that those officers were at fault. I don't understand Like what could they possibly blame themselves for? So it bothers me. It bothers me. I'm not gonna I get the PTSD thing. I get the PTSD thing. I get it. But I feel like there's something missing. I really feel like there's something missing. I think another thing that bothers me is that people are still trying to say that, it was just, like a theme park atmosphere where everybody was super peaceful. You don't have four officers delete themselves. Um, that just doesn't happen. Um, it just doesn't. Um, it just doesn't happen. I'm sorry, and it bothers me. It bothers me. Aliens capable of interstellar travel wouldn't be interested in making deals with us. It'd be like making a deal with an ant colony to move so you can build a field, Douglas Adams style. Yeah, but you know that the people in power now would definitely sell us all out if they thought it would make a difference. The very people they swore to protect are the ones that destroy them. Yeah. He may have had information on the Clintons. Not trying to joke. My condolences. Jimmy Dean, two Capitol officers in the month of July. Two of them within 2 weeks of each other self-terminated. Not one, but two. And it was around, when they had those hearings, and I think that might have caused, now that I think about it, I think that it might have sent a couple of those officers over the edge, hearing the stories of the other officers that testified. I think that there's definitely something to that. Um, now that I think about it, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, and that's really fucked. That's really, really, really fucked. Um, that's really fucked. It's just fucked, man. And I think one of the things that really bothers me is that all I've been hearing is about blue lives matter, blue lives matter, blue lives matter, blue lives matter, blue lives matter. And then you what about these blue lives? Do these blue lives matter? I think hypocrisy is always a thing that really irks my nerves. But then I mix in the sadness that I feel thinking about the psychological torment that these officers went through. And then to have it mitigated by the likes of Newsmax and, OAN. Oh no, they were being welcomed. I don't know of any police officer ushering people into a Capitol building then decide to leave this earth over it. Somebody getting, beat in the head with a fire extinguisher to death. You had people, using riot shields that came from the Capitol Police. You have them using the riot shields to break the windows. I don't. That's not a family fun, peaceful. That's just not what it is. And it bothers me to see that people are playing these stupid ass games. People really, really fucked up over it, and it just seems like, if because of my political affiliations, I don't care. I don't care about what other people go through. and I'm only going to support the police as long as, they are tormenting people that don't look like me. And that's what it looks like to me. And I would love for somebody to change my mind on that. I would love to have somebody say, well, it's not that it's really that, you know, but it's really this. The only thing I can tell you is what it looks like. And what it looks like, it looks like hypocrisy to me. No one is saying blue lives matter anymore. The very left and the very right both dislike them now. Yeah, yeah. And I like the fact that you said very left and very right, because I believe you're 100% correct. I think that reasonable lefties and reasonable righties, um, I believe that the reasonable among us believe that, like, thank you, thank you. Didn't want to get smashed by a bus while this guy's letting me go. I think that reasonable lefties and reasonable righties, the reasonable lefties will say defund the police means putting more into mental health and human services so that you don't have people trained to be enforcers dealing with people in psychological and mental crises. That's what the reasonable lefty believes, right? The reasonable righty may be skeptical about defund the police, but then will be open to hearing exactly what that entails, right? Then they'd be like, well, defund the police doesn't mean, give them all Nerf super soakers filled with vinegar to cause some mild eye irritation in the face of, deadly criminals. It just kind of means, let's let the police do the jobs that they were hired to do instead of giving them all of these responsibilities that don't belong to them. That would be reasonable, right? The reasonable righty will say, well, we support the police, but we don't support police brutality, right? But then you got the guys on the very, very far right that will tell you that they need proof that vaccines work, but they don't need proof that there was election interference against them. They just took Trump at Trump's word, but when it came to like vaccines, they needed more proof than all the scientific studies done around the world. They needed more proof than that. But the only thing that they needed to believe in some election bullshit was, well, Trump said it, right? Those are the unreasonable righties. And we already know, what the unreasonable people on the left say. They'll say, oh, there should never be a billionaire. They'll say things, like that. You guys know that my co-host on Black Power Magic Hour wants all the police on a spaceship with Jeff Bezos to go to another solar system, right? To me, that's unreasonable. But I respect his right to have that opinion that I believe is unreasonable. The very left is chanting ACAB. The very right is mocking the Capitol Police testimonies and dancing on their graves. Yeah, I have a major problem with that. I have a major problem. And the thing is that what if you are one of those Capitol Police officers and all you've been hearing is blue lives matter, blue lives matter, blue lives matter. And then you believe that at least half the country is pulling for you. For whatever their reason, you believe half of the country is pulling for you. And then you find out that half of the country really was only pulling for you when you were killing unarmed black and brown people for no good reason. That was the only reason they were cheering for you. And he didn't really respect your profession. They only respected the fact that you could kill with impunity the very people that they've been taught are inferior to them, or they've been taught are the source of all of their problems, their economic issues. Wow, I just saw a school bus run a red light. Thumbs up, guy. So, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Capitol police officer responding to what happened on January 6th. And maybe it's a little less foggy. Maybe. But I don't know. Like, for me, like, I believe that if you believe something that, borders on racist, I'm not going to judge you for that out of hand. I'm not going to do that. Um, but what I am going to say is I am going to expect that you keep that same energy. That is really like the only thing, right? Um, it's not just Trump said it. There were massive irregularities that, when brought up, were completely and systematically ignored by every branch of government. From what I saw, that is not the case. From what I saw, when they went investigating and looking for irregularities, they found that Republicans, pro-Trump Republicans, were voting for their dead family members. So the only people that were really caught out there with these irregularities were the Trumpers. And one of the things that you need to also figure out, and you need to pay very close attention to, is that, in the state of Georgia, they were trying to do these audits, right? Notice how, yeah, audit. You have not heard anything come out of Georgia as far as any secondary or tertiary examinations of the ballots. In Arizona, they made a big deal about, we're recounting these ballots. It's been what, 3 months? It's been 3 months. It's been 3 months, and we're not hearing any chest beating. We're not hearing anything from the election was stolen crowd in Arizona. We're hearing nothing. And I suspect that when everything is all said and done, we will hear absolutely nothing. They're going to find out that there was nothing wrong with the ballots, and they're just going to pretend as if, they're just going to pretend as if, like, they didn't about it. They're going to pretend as if they're not going to make a big fucking deal about it. As if nothing happened, as if they didn't do any auditing at all. And that's what you're going to see. Because if there was any merit at all to their claims, you would not have heard the end of it. You would not. Oh shit. I just took a wrong turn. Oh well. Jimmy Dean, let me tell you something. I'm a person that pays attention to trends. I pay attention to behavioral patterns, okay? You've got a lot of loud people screaming about how there was these voting irregularities in Republican-controlled states. People screaming about it at the top of their lungs, okay? I'm telling you, if they would have found one illegal ballot in the entire state of Arizona, it would be all over Fox News and OAN and Newsmax. it would be all over those publications. See, look, we found one, but they haven't found any. And another thing, too, you have to understand as well. When I say that, on the word of Trump, people were believing that there were voting irregularities before anyone voted at all, because Trump told them that it was going to be rigged months before anybody put any ballots in. So yes, it was on the word of Trump. Because you can't tell me that there were voting irregularities before the primary. If no one has cast a ballot for anybody yet, you can't say that there is a voting irregularity because there hasn't been a vote yet. You need a vote for voting irregularities. And this is the behavioral that has been from that side of the political aisle. Right? You've got Republican electioneers, you got Republican secretaries of state, Republican governors saying there is nothing wrong with our elections. We want Trump to win, but Trump didn't win. So the only thing that you're hearing is, well, they're going to steal the election from us. And there hasn't been any proof of that. The only proof that was found, was of Republicans voting for their dead relatives for Trump. There was a bet, because remember that the power structure in Pennsylvania is all Republican. All Republican. And the bet was, the bet that came out of Texas was, I bet you that there's going to be some bullshit with the ballots. And I will pay $1 million for every instance that's found. So when the state of Pennsylvania answered the bet, they asked for $2 million because they found 2 instances of voter fraud. Both of them Republicans voting for dead relatives. When they were talking about there was some bullshit going on in Nevada, again, Republicans voting on behalf of their dead relatives. Some of them died from the Rona. So even if there are hours of importance, there is nothing that can be done about it. Once the new president's in, there's no way to change that. I think that we understand that that is. I think that's a moot point, right? Because even if you can't change the president, if you are able to successfully erode the people's trust in the elections, then you can spread chaos. And one of the things that you can definitely see in other countries that don't believe in their own elections, a lot of bad, violent things happen. A lot of bad things happen. Like storming the Capitol building. Like threatening a coup. And one of the scariest things about that for myself is that I very naively, and again, I'm as susceptible to ignorance as anybody else. I naively thought that, that kind of stuff happened in destabilized countries, third world, second world countries. That didn't happen, in modern day society. It didn't happen it doesn't happen in modern day society to people like, something that, you think that with all of America's problems, it's still the paragon of how modern societies are run. Even with all its problems, you still think that, but Even though it was a failed coup, it was still a coup attempt. And it happened right here in our country. And it was because of people's eroded trust. And the only thing that they needed was for somebody to tell the same lie consistently. And Trump said that in his book, The Art of the Deal. As long as you keep telling the same lie over and over and over again, you can get people to believe what you're saying. And that's one of his tactics in his own book that he wrote and made money off of. And then, you know, back in the late 1990s when he said, if he ran for office, he would run as a Republican because Republicans are uneducated and prone to FUD. And then he comes out and he does exactly that. I mean, he was friends with all of the Democrats, buddy with them, flying on the Lolita Express with them, with the Clintons, and they're best friends and all that other stuff, right? Trying to figure out if this guy, trying to figure out if that guy was gonna put his flashing red lights on. You got to respect you have to respect the school buses. What do you think about the Time Life article fortifying the election to ensure the proper outcome? With the CIA, anything's possible. I didn't read the article, but I'm just going to kind of infer from what you're asking, McFadful. I don't think that fortifying the election is going to make a difference. I think that when people talk about fortifying the election, what they really mean is do everything you can to keep poor dark-skinned people from voting because they tend to vote Democrat. And I believe that if poor dark-skinned people were the type to vote Republican, at a 60% clip, because black people vote Democrat at about a 92% clip. If black people voted Republican at a 65% clip, none of these secure the election things would be enacted, because all of the ways that they are trying to secure the election is to keep poor people and dark-skinned people that they know have trouble getting to the polls. They're trying to make it where people in those areas have the most trouble getting to the polls. So, they understand the economic statistics here in the United States. They know who is most likely to be affected by the gerrymandering that they consistently engage in. Pretty much, whenever a Republican wins, they talk about how much they believe in the system. And anytime they lose, the system is messed up. And I saw that from the Democrats too in 2016. Oh, but Hillary won the election by, what was it, 3.5 million votes, something like that. But the Electoral College, and what did the Democrats do? Well, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. No. It was fine for you when Obama won, right? The Electoral College was fine for you when Obama won. The Electoral College was fine for you when he won before then. It was fine, right? You are not whining about the Electoral College when Obama won 2 times in a row. I don't want to hear about your whining about the Electoral College because Hillary got 3.5 million more votes than Trump and lost the election. I don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear it. If it was good enough for Obama in 08 and 12, then the Electoral College is good enough for Trump in 16. And then it proved to be, well, I mean, Biden, had, I think he beat him by 7.5 million votes, something like that, somewhere between 5 and 7 million votes this time, and won the states. I don't want to hear about how the rules have to be changed or the district lines need to be redrawn because they don't benefit you right now. Because if you redraw the lines, and then you lose later on, you're going to want to redraw the lines again. So you're not about fairness, you're just about winning. So that means it's not a true democracy. So that's another thing. When people say, oh, democracy doesn't work, or communism doesn't work, or socialism doesn't work. No, we haven't seen anybody try to implement any of these systems in good faith. And that's your problem. Oh, we need more socialism and less capitalism. No, what we need is capitalism to be run in good faith, not corporations buying the politicians. No, you should be forced to compete. And if you don't want to compete, then you should not be in business. If you don't want to pay your employees, you shouldn't have a business. If you can't afford what it costs to be in business, then your business should fail. If the market demands that you have to pay your employees $25 an hour, but you only want to pay them $7.25, then you have to be your own employee and you got to do all the work yourself. That's what the open market is supposed to be. Not a race to the bottom, but a race to who can get the most value and bring the most value. That's what it's supposed to be. Oh, fuck these guys. Man. Yeah, both sides are corrupt as fuck. Absolutely. Do you believe that Biden got more of the black popular vote than the Obama? Honest question, no trolling. I don't see how that would be trolling. So many people blame the system instead of making personal changes. Yes. And again, when we talk on TSP, that's exactly what the fuck we're talking about. That kind of thing. Exactly that. Everybody wants to always blame somebody else when things don't go right. Well, maybe your ability to sell yourself as a candidate failed. Maybe that. You know what? I think I might swing all the way back around and then go 2 blocks further and then come down. Yeah, exploitation is a short-term fix because what ends up happening, I saw a tweet by the socialist chick, but she makes a good point. She was talking about how resource inequality is actually worse today than it was before the French Revolution. And she left it just like that. Revolution, because it definitely was not a resolution until blood was spilled. Extreme greed looks good in the short term, but there are costs for that. There are costs. And now that the evict apocalypse has just begun, and now we've got, inability to pay my rent zombies starting to start spreading now because, the courts are about to be filled with desperate people. My co-host on behalf of both of us on Twitter, he was saying how, everybody keeps saying, please super fund the police because evict apocalypse is coming. Now, instead of funding, stuff to help people to not lose their homes and their apartments, they think, well, we welcome the evictions, but we know that all of the evictions is going to cause crime to go through the fucking sky. You want to talk about Dogecoin going to the moon? How about the crime rate? Yeah, because back then almost everyone was poor. Think about that, Jimmy Dean. We're pretty much back there. That's pretty much where we are. We're right back there. And when I think I saw a stat yesterday that says that Mark Zuckerberg, just him, just Mark Zuckerberg, one human being, owns 2.6% of all millennial wealth. So we're talking about, uh, uh, people born from, 1980 to 2000. Okay. Right. You're talking about of all of the people born between 1980 and 2000 or 1975 and 1995, however you want to define when those people were born. Of all the people born in that 20-year period, one person owns 1/20th or 1/22nd for every $1 earned by all the people who have lived and died, born in that time period. For every $22, he has one of those $22 or $21. Think about that. One person. And he's not even the richest man in the world. So, what are you going to do? This is why I believe in a hybrid system of capitalism and socialism. Because if you allow people to be selfish only after everybody has gotten sufficient amount of something that amounts to a little bit more than a crumb, you got to give people a little bit more than a crumb, right? Go ahead and make as many fucking billions. Try to become the first trillionaire, but only after we make sure that the most vulnerable among us don't fall through the cracks, because that is where the bulk of your violent crime comes from. Social media is not a valued product. Come on, Jimmy Dean. Come on, Jimmy Dean. Come on. Come on, Jimmy Dean. We're talking about a place where you're not allowed to make jokes about women, but you're allowed to throw out wild insults against straight men. You're not allowed to say anything that is remotely right wing. You're not allowed to say anything that is remotely right wing. You're not allowed to say anything that, their people say that you can say. And you can't tell me that that's valuable. We're only one side of the ideological aisle is allowed to have a voice. That's not valuable. You can't tell me that somebody that basically makes money off of stealing your information, because that's really how they make their money, is by violating your privacy. That's not valuable. That doesn't move the human race forward. This is why I make a very distinct um, differentiation between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. There is a reason why, even though I don't like Elon Musk, I respect Elon Musk, but I don't like or respect Jeff Bezos. Because Elon Musk made his money by bringing something of value to people, to the human race, when you're talking about cleaner transportation technology. Um, he open sourced the battery technology. Now you've got all of these other major manufacturers that are able to create hybrid and fully electric vehicles in a way that cuts down on emissions. Elon Musk actually brought something to the table. Jeff Bezos exploited consumers, small business owners, their own employees. When Amazon was just, coming up, selling books online and then, creating the Kindle, that was useful. Creating the Kindle app was even more useful because I didn't have to buy a Kindle. And I can read all of the science fiction books I wanted. Right? But exploiting people, exploiting markets, driving prices into the ground to get rid of small business owners, and then when the small business owners are made bankrupt and can't do business anymore, then you raise the prices on the consumers. All kinds of foul shit that Amazon has done to people who sell on their platform, to people who buy on their platform, and of course, what they've done to their own employees. Just seen a news clip where the president and Canadian prime minister are talking about how to help women recover from COVID-related problems. You know why? Because if you let all the men die, then the women will be just fine. We need to make sure the women survive. I haven't used any form of social media since before 2013. Wow. But regardless, it's valuable because people think it is through stock. No matter what we think of Facebook, it is objectively valuable. No, the stock is valuable, but the product isn't. The product is you. Facebook doesn't actually have a product anymore because they've changed their business model in the middle of the game without us knowing. Their business model is you. You are the product. You are the reason why their stock goes up. You. You understand what I'm saying? You are the reason their stock goes up. Zuckerberg may own 2.6% of millennial wealth, but he made that wealth. No, he didn't. And yes, he did steal it. He made that wealth by stealing your private information and selling it. Yeah, laws weren't made for the internet age. Yeah. Privacy laws, look at everything that Apple is doing, right? Apple says in iOS 14.5, in this update, we are not going to allow the theft of your data. We're not going to allow Facebook to basically steal data from your phone when you're not using Facebook, which is why I never downloaded the Facebook app. I only use Facebook on the Chrome browser. There's a reason. There's a reason why I did that. Because when you close the app, they can't track you when you close the browser. They can still track what you do on the browser while you're using the browser, but that's it. They can't track what apps you have. They can't track what you do on the apps if you don't install the Facebook app. Again, Facebook used to have a product that they offered to people, and then they sold ads, blind ads. But they changed their business model when they really became super profitable. The juggernaut they are today is when they switch from having a product to making you the product. That's not earned money. Because if you look at the way Instagram does it, which is owned by Facebook, and you should actually know that this is the way it's supposed to be. The people who are the product, they get compensated. Do you get a check from Facebook? I mean, you don't use Facebook, but do you get the regular person that uses Facebook all day and they're posting stuff, do they get a check from Facebook? No. But it's their data. It's their data that they're profiting from. And they're stealing it without their knowledge. And then they have the nerve to create a government. Apple is not letting us steal their information anymore by giving them privacy. Senator, we sell ads. Cockabird. Yeah. No, he did steal it. He stole your information and then profited from it. It would be like, let me ask you something, Jimmy. If I went up in your crib and stole all of the plastic software, and then I went to a pawn shop and then sold it, is that a legal transaction? Because I didn't force the pawn guy to take your silverware, right? I didn't force them to take your silverware. I just brought the silverware. They told me how much it was worth, and then we made a transaction. I had something in my possession, and I sold it. Never mind that I robbed your house. Facebook is turning on your camera and watching you poop the show Charlotte Roach. So we're that close. We're actually pretty close to that. But if I rob your fucking house for your jewelry and for your silverware, and then I turn around, walk into an establishment, and then sell the stuff I stole from you, does that make sense? So that's what I want you to think about. Facebook has been stealing data for a long time. Facebook has been stealing your data for a long time. And like you said, the laws were not made for the digital age. But what they're doing digitally is the same as running up in your crib in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, stealing your shit, and then selling your stuff and then getting a receipt for the stuff that they stole. So, well, I sold the stuff legally, but they stole the stuff that you sold. There's a lot of stuff that's in the terms of service that is not legally enforceable. And even at the very best is not ethical. And Facebook knows that 2 billion people are not going to understand all that legalese or even bother to read it or go wherever it is in the dark corners of the website. We know this. No, they do everything they can to avoid actually telling you in a way that you understand that's easily accessible. What they tell you is go to Facebook.com and look at these cat pictures and people complaining about their lives. Oh, make sure you keep scrolling.
Oh, we're not going to tell you that we're manipulating your feed to manipulate your emotions. That's what they don't tell you, to keep you on the website. No, that's not in their terms of service. A lot of that, a lot of the algorithm stuff that they're doing to manipulate people into feeding them more information, they're not telling you that they're following you around the internet. They're not telling you that they're paying attention to every single thing that you do in every app that you do. No, they're not telling you all of that. What they're telling you in their terms of service is that we might share your data while you're on the site, and you cannot make jokes or say anything that is critical against people of certain sexualities, anyone female, and anybody with left-leaning ideology. That they make very fucking clear. We gave it to them because we didn't know how valuable our data was. No, people don't know that they're giving away the data. If you poll most people that use social media, and you say, hey, you know that they're actually taking every single thing that you're doing and they're selling it, they would say that you've got a tinfoil hat on. Because most people don't understand technology on that level. They don't understand coding on that level. A lot of people are still freaked the fuck out whenever they're having a personal conversation with their phone in their pocket, not using it. And then 5 minutes later, they got an ad for something that they weren't even using their phone. People are creeped out by that stuff. The terms of service doesn't say, you know what? We're going to be listening to your fucking conversations while you're not using your device. No, the terms of service doesn't say that, sir. Why do you think they're making such a big fucking stink about what Apple did with giving people the option to let them be tracked or not? What was it, 96%? No, is it 96%? No, is it 96%? Or was it 76%? Somewhere between 76 and 96% of people, when asked if they will allow Facebook to track them, at least 3 out of 4 people said no. When given the actual option in their face, somewhere between 3 out of 4 and 9.5 out of 10, somewhere in there, would actually put in their face and say, hey, would you like this company to have access to your private information so they can sell it and make billions upon trillions of dollars with it? Most people said no. That should tell you all you need to know. No, it says we may have access to your camera and mic on or off platform. It's up to the user to determine what that means. Is vague on purpose. You made my point for me. They're not going to tell you, but when spelled out for you in plain fucking English, people overwhelmingly say no. And that's why they're crying. Government, force Apple to let us steal people's information. They're not letting us. They're not really hurting us. They're hurting the small businesses. Sorry, not buying it. Anyway, I have to harass Captain Paul to see if we can get this TSP off this morning, because it's the last day that I can get him before he gets on the boat. Florida doctors deeply distressed by flood of younger, sicker COVID patients. COVID-19 hospitalization rates in Florida are the highest they've been during the pandemic, but now many of the patients are younger. Many are in their 20s and 30s, some even in their teens, and they appear to be much sicker than those who flooded the hospitals earlier in the pandemic. Frustrated healthcare workers say. Ambush coming! Bread and circuses, friend, until the republic falls. But you know what? I'm gonna enjoy my life until it all falls down. Yo, Ambush, love you, brother. But you guys need to pay attention to this. Like all of this about the younger people getting sicker, that's important. But the most important thing that you guys should be worried about is frustrated healthcare workers. That's what you should be paying attention to because they have been at their wits' end. There are medical professionals who started self terminating 2, 3, 4 weeks into the pandemic. You guys should pay attention. What site was the Florida article from? This is from CNBC or NBC News. So I'm supposed to be going to Florida in October. I might put on 6 masks until I get on the cruise. But anyway, the pandemic may not be an issue of like everybody getting super sick. It may be an issue of um us not having access to healthcare because healthcare workers are just going to break down. And I think that that's something that you guys really need to be worried about. Healthcare workers can't do TikTok dances if they are upsetty spaghetti. Yeah, they're also not going to be able to do their jobs because they're going to burn completely out. Anyway, I love World War II gas mask going fast. Oh man. Well, like I said, I'm going to hit up my guy. Um, I'm going to hit up my guy, Captain Paul. Hopefully, we will be right back at you in just a little while because I think he actually wanted to get started at 10 o'clock. So, hey, you might be seeing us in the next 10 to 15 minutes, hopefully. So, as a matter of fact, before I get off of this, I keep forgetting I got 2 phones, right? I'm going to call Captain Paul right now. Bars. Yep. You guys hear this ringing, right?
Please leave your message for 401.
So yeah, that happened. Well, yeah, yeah. I may still get on and do this and do a show talking to you guys about the type of women that you should avoid on dating apps. So either way, we are going to do a TSP this morning. So for those who have not subscribed just yet, definitely go there. Okay, go there. bit.ly/capital TALKIN _ capital SHT. Okay, go there. Yeah, go there. Oh shit, man. Captain Paul is white and all, but I didn't think he was a ghost. Oh well, you know. Well, I'm determined to get a show going today, regardless. So either you see him or you see us. Well, either you see us or you see me. But we are gonna do a show today. So hopefully in the next 15, 20 minutes, you guys will see me or you'll see us both. But until then, probably be doing another Genius Take the Wheel on Thursday, I believe. I love it when even small-breasted women go braless. I don't know, just something beautiful about the female breast. That is just, I don't know, it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, I'm out.